Let's go straight now to SABC News reporter Corbin August. He's been with the Gift of the Givers for majority of the day. Of course, the Gift of the Givers stepped in with some supplies, including food, for over 4,000 students that have been affected. Some are being accommodated in hotels in the city. Corbin, a very good evening to you. Thanks indeed for your time. When I spoke to you a bit earlier on, you had indicated you'd be at a hotel where some of the students are being fed this evening. Could you give us a sense of what is taking place there?
Yes, good evening to the viewers. Well, at the moment we are currently standing outside one of the hotels where the students have been offered temporary accommodation. Now, when we arrived, just as we came here, there were two more busloads of students that arrived who are now busy checking in. And this is where they'll be staying until the university says it's safe for them to return back to their residences. We know that about 4,000 students were displaced following the fire that gutted some of the buildings at UCT's upper campus. Various residences had to be evacuated in order to safeguard the safety of the students. Today we have the students who are now arriving here at this hotel. When we spoke to management at the hotel earlier, they said that they estimated the numbers to be around 500 students who would be accommodated at this venue. Of course, it's one of around 29 sites, one of 29 hotel locations that have been set up and have been made available to house students temporarily over the next few days. Yeah. Now, joining me is one of the students who would like to talk to us, and we asked him earlier to share some of his experiences now, especially with what happened yesterday, and also their feelings about the accommodation and the food and so on and so forth. Joining me now, I do have Lesedi Lale. He's a second-year medical science student and the deputy chairperson of the Environmental Wellness Council. Thank you so much for talking to us. Now, let's start with you. Perhaps just take us through what was going through your mind yesterday when the fire broke out on upper campus.
Well, I'm greetings to the viewers at home. Well, the situation yesterday started so small. Obviously, like there was fire at the top of the mountain, but we didn't expect it to be as much more, robust as it was yesterday. So now it escalated as the fire spread out the whole mountain, and then it started being out of place. So we actually needed to evacuate in our residences. But at that time, I'm not really sure how the students were feeling, but I wasn't really maybe disturbed in a way, because I thought it will be something that will be dealt with in one day. So now that we came here, we had to evacuate and all those stuff. I can say that today, now that we're realizing that obviously we've been evacuated in residences, I can say that the trauma or the disturbance in our psychological minds, obviously now that we are affected by this whole thing, it's actually increasing, because I can see that students are disturbed by the situation, but obviously we are happy that the preventative measures and the precautionary measures have been put in place. Of course, not forgetting observing the regulations of COVID-19. And obviously, as the Environmental Wellness Council, obviously we've been having meetings discussing how we can actually calm the situation down. But I can rest assure you now that the situation is actually calm as compared to yesterday.
And then, let's say, Tom, yesterday with everything that was going on, I imagine it must have been a rush to evacuate. Just tell us, what are some of the things that you thought was the most important that you have to take with you immediately? And what are some of the things that you perhaps left behind?
Oh, well, I can say that obviously our wardens told us to take the most essential stuff. But at that time, we couldn't really tell that we're going to evacuate and go to another place. So I don't think we took much stuff, because myself personally, I took my laptop and my gadgets actually, because I had work to do. But lucky enough, or fortunately enough rather, the vice chancellor told us that obviously the activities of academics have been suspended. So now that things are fine, I can say that I left my clothes at the rest and most of my things my toiletries, and that's really unfortunate. But lucky enough, again, we have interventions that have been put in place. People have been supporting us with soaps and just the Gift of the Givers. We have to take credit for it.
Thank you so much. That was Lesedi Lale, a second-year medical science student at UCT who was housed in the Kopano residence, one of the residences that was evacuated. He was talking to us outside the hotel where hundreds of students will be housed temporarily until UCT deems it safe for them to return back to campus.